Welcome to Emuna is Our Future. Wishing you all a healthy winter, and please God, it should be with soul. It should be soulful. It's not enough for us to just, do our thing. It's making sure everything's working good. All the different internet things. Right now we don't have Wi-Fi, so that's why this is going to be part 2 in the studio. Somehow, miraculously, I managed to make it to the studio, even though we're on a lockdown. The people here were able to come, and we got special permission. So here we are in the studio. I don't know if the live feed's going to work at all, but that's what you have the opportunity to watch the edited version, and hopefully in this part 2 we're going to make it even more inspirational than normal. Once again, I don't know if it's working at all. I just know that I'm here and that you guys are listening, hopefully either the final thing, at least on the Emuna is Our Future podcast. Excitingly, we can always keep sharing it there straight after the class. I see some life. Avi Bernstein is watching. Welcome. And we're not going to say all your names. I try to keep that nameless, the people who come. But we do appreciate you. Right now, I'm on my live feed on my own Facebook. I'm just trying to get the word out there a little bit as well. If you want to hear the full class that I put out live, you go to Breslev Israel and just go down a little bit on the feed, and you'll see, or go to the video section and you'll see the part 1 that was in my house. But this is the studio blessing for the new year, the new opportunity for all of us to do a new class with class, to have class, how we do things, to do things with knowledge and wisdom. Baruch Hashem, we have a holy sefer here, Rabbi Nachman Breslever's beautiful book, and we can share that winter blessing. We all need good health right now. With the Corona challenge, it's still going. In the second lockdown in the Holy Land, it hasn't yet been removed, unfortunately, but thank God we're somehow functioning, moving ahead somehow. Schools are on the phones, and we're still doing online classes. We have, thank God, put up some great class from Gedalia Fenster that he's been able to do from Miami. Florida is experiencing slightly less lockdown, as I'm sure you guys have heard. Everything's reported nowadays. Not that we're going to get political, but the other beauty is that all of us have the ability to tune in to a more inspired flow. That this year, Tafshin Pei Aleph, gives us the opportunity for all of us to be a bit more real, to be more real with our life, how we do things, that we're not under control by, God forbid, by anything, by the media or by people around us, that we are independent thinkers. We have our own bechira. It's a gift that Hashem gave us. Bochei Amo Yisrael. He chose us, and He chose the world. He gave us all life, the whole world, and that's something important I spoke about in part 1. That we're not into being exclusive. We're inclusive. That it's not a chosenness of exclusiveness, but it's inclusive. But in order to get inclusive, we have to have those intimate moments. That was the holy days that we just went through. This is a very deep idea that I'd like to discuss more in my book, United Souls. I've been talking about it more there, and I spoke about it in part 1, a bit more detailed. But the concept is that all of us have the power within to be not only intrinsically one with Hashem, and even though right now we're experiencing Wi-Fi issues, but we're always connected to Hashem. We're always connected to the oneness, to our Creator. It's not something which is ever disconnected. So even if we see on the Wi-Fi right now, it's up and down, so the live feed is a little bit weak, but we have to know on a deep level that within we have a soul connection. There's nothing actually blocking that connection. And even though we have a body, and we have all kinds of needs and physical wants and desires, that we still have a soul connection. And even if, for example, right now during this Corona challenge, where we're with the family more, or we're maybe, God forbid, online by ourselves more, and we have opportunity to watch all kinds of funny things, and hopefully not anything damaging to our soul, but we have the opportunity to use those moments to choose right. to choose how we use the internet, to choose when to disconnect, when to be with the family, when to face our life issues. And that should be something which really should be tamid. Shavit Hashem negdi tamid. That God is always in front of us, and it's not something we can ever take a holiday from. People say the high holidays, that's what they call these sukkah, and we just went through in Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, sukkah. So I wasn't at work, I wasn't sitting in the office downstairs, but I wouldn't consider it a holiday, because there's no real holiday. When it comes to spirituality, we're always ready for our avoda. We're always here to do what our larger mission is, and everyone here has an ability to tune into that. It's not something which is you're ever really patur, you're ever exempt from doing your spiritual work. So I do believe on a deep level, all of us, that we have intrinsic emunah, we have intrinsic soul connection, and that every one of us can tune in to our Emuna classes with that inspiration. And that's why we thank again to be in this beautiful new studio. Please God, this year we're going to have new classes from Rav Shalom Arush. We're going to have the opportunity to connect in to a whole different level of Emuna classes. Right next to me is going to be hopefully Rav Dayan Elgrod. We're going to have Rav Shalom Arush, and we're going to translate it into English, and we're going to be able to share with special guests. We already have Yosef Danil. Please God, next Tuesday night we'll be here, and we'll have the opportunity also not only to have Yosef Danil, but have people like guests. We've been talking to Subliminal. Subliminal, very famous rapper, friend of mine, and we can bring some other people in from the music business, and because the music energy is very important here. We want to be in an uplifted state. That's part of the highness of the high holy days. We want to bring that energy that we got of singing and music and inspiration that the world is so involved with. And every single media app, there's some sort of music, and every single media movie, there's some sort of music playing. It's very important that we bring the people who make the music and share with Rav Arush that experience with Emuna, and to be able to make a music of Emuna music. That's one of the things that our goals is to have music of unity, music that inspires the world, that uplifts the world. And we spoke about that in order to be able to create that feeling of togetherness, it's up to all of us on an individual level to choose to inspire people, to choose, as the concept is called Rak v'chazak v'yamatz, as Moshe said to Yeshua in the Holy Torah, in Sefer Yeshua, and when he was giving over the mantelpiece of leadership to Yeshua, he said Rak chazak v'yamatz, only strength and encouragement and strength. This is the kind of mindset that Moshe wanted to give over to his student, to then be given over by that student to other students. That's the kind of mindset we need during going through such a corona challenge that we are. So that where we're coming up to right now, this whole full week, to prepare for Shabbos Bereshis, and we don't usually get a whole week. Usually Sukkot ends in the middle of the week or near the end, and we have to rush our preparation for Shabbos Bereshis. This year, we had a full week to learn the Parsha, to get into what it is, the Chay Adam Arishon. We even learned it on Simchas Torah, so we already got a pre-game with the 7 days of creation, with those 7 special lights that we talk about by the Baal Shem Tov HaKadosh, bring down that light of creation into our life, to understand that there's awe. There's, just like in the Parsha, there's written this light that inspires us and clarifies who we are and what our purpose is, our mission. So we should know that there's a time frame of creation, just like there's 6 days of creation, there's 6 days of the week, there's 6,000 years of history, and we come to that 7,000 millennium we talked about. That's the Shabbat, and Bereshis is Osis Bara Shabbat. That Hashem created the Shabbat. That was the whole purpose. There should be Shabbat, and that's the focus that we have in the word itself of Bereshis. The creation is the root of all creation, comes out like the seminal drop that creates that child. There's that seminal drop of spirituality and light that came into the word Bereshis, and it's creating that light of Shabbat, of disconnect to reconnect. And that's the purpose, the climax of Tishrei that we're in right now. We're at that zenith, that real high moment of Ravad the Ravin, of Shabbat, of Tishrei. And that's why it's important that we're putting out classes even this week, where we don't have the opportunity to have a Rav Shalom Arush Emuna Q&A class, but you can still send us your questions, and we're please God in the new week we'll have that class, and you guys can sit here and share together with Rav Arush. For this year we don't have the Emuna tour in person. We have the Emuna online tour. So you guys can tune in to Rav Arush and his Emuna and his Garden of Emuna series and tune into that special light and get that inspiration, that joy that will help you deal with the struggles that we're all going through his teachings, through applying them yourself, through doing the work yourself. To have that experience on a Shabbat of spirituality where you're disconnected to reconnect, to understand what it means to have a soul, and to spiritualize those 6 days before and spiritualize the 6 days after, coming after Shabbos. The week should be elevated, should have a purpose and unification. So I ask all of you to share what we're doing this year, this new year. It's an opportunity which I want to hear your encouragement and strength. I want to hear how Emuna is benefiting your life and how you guys can contribute towards the Emuna tour on an online platform, how you can share on your groups and your networks, and you can also give over your ideas of Emuna and share with Rav Arush himself his ideas of inspiration, and please God get blessings from him and all the good things that we're trying to do here with the Daily Halakhic Corner and Rav Yonatan Galed, the Universal Garden of Emuna in English. And please God, we're going to have Rav Dayan Elgrod. Hopefully we'll get some hashkafa, some ideas from him and a spiritual level of what he's going to give over, like in terms of how he's approaching this new year. And we'd like to hear more from Gedalia Fenster. Please God, weekly we'll try to put up a class from Miami, Florida, and we have the opportunity for new speakers, for new partnerships, collaborations. The God with the Emuna tour classes, we have guests who bring their special light, like we had Rav Shalom Arush and Nissan Black and Mordechai Ben Avram and other wonderful people, Benjamin Blackwell and all the great people that came last year. Please God, we can bring them again and inspire everybody. Like Yosef Danil's going to come hopefully with a guitar, and he's going to inspire us with some musical energy. The last time he came, it was during the 3 weeks, so we weren't able to have music from him. This time, please God, we'll have some music, and the lockdown and all the different challenges that we're all going through, we'll have the strength and encouragement to deal with it in a positive way with Emuna and clarity. Now I have to say, when I was sitting in my house and I gave the first class, which you're welcome to go back to, I did feel more of a flow. Like, I'm not feeling the flow right now, I'm being honest. I'm being straight with you guys tuning in. But that's the beauty of Emuna, that in the end we're talking about important things, and it's not always about what you feel, like Gedalia talks about. It's not always basing your life, and Rav Arush himself gives us guidance about how just by having Emuna in itself gives us the power to tune in even when we don't feel connected, even when we don't feel like there's a flow going through. Like I have my podcast, the Unity Flow podcast, Relationship Flow podcast. That power of tuning into a flow is really fundamental, can really make a big difference in our life, with our marriages and our family and our friends, and especially right now in lockdown we're spending a lot of concentrated time with family and friends, to tune into the energy that's available in our life and not to be distracted by the pain or the sorrow of what seemingly seems to be going on. That we have the connection, we have an intrinsic flow with each other, we're really all one. That's the real truth of reality, and I do believe that would fix a lot of the problems in the world right now. There's so much divisiveness and there's so much politicization, especially the Corona challenge. All of us have the ability to say, no, I'm tuned in to the unity aspect of it, to the Emuna part. I know that everything is meant to be, and I know that we're all ultimately all united as souls, and we will have a purpose together in this world, and there is a path of Yeshuas, of salvations, and there is a path of positivity, and we can overcome this, and I don't have to give in to the anger and the fear, but I can actually be part of the realm of joy and happiness and calmness. And it's something which personally I'm working on. Like, it's not something which is like I'm mastered. This is a daily battle to overcome, and as you go in from life, so do the challenges get higher and higher. Like your kids get older, the bigger problems come, and you have an opportunity now to mizgaba, even to deal with yourself right now. Like a Rabbi, Rav Moshe Tuvialev said very profoundly and very importantly, he's one of the big rabbis now, part of Agudas Yisrael. He spoke and said that everyone's at risk now. It's not just the children at risk, but we're all at risk. Every one of us, we're at risk with the phones and with whatever's going on in the streets, and just the struggle with the children and the education system and the financial system and the government, and the way the media is portraying everything. We're all at risk, and now our opportunity is to tune into that intrinsic place of encouragement and strength, to not be pulled down by what we're at risk from, but to actually realize we have the power to go through everything, that we have the power to overcome all our challenges, and that all of us this year, please God, we're starting off with Bereshis, with Avram Avinu's light is hidden in the Parsha. Hibaram is hidden, the words Hibaram, that Hashem created with the light of Avram Avinu, this light of Emunah, this light of love is in the Parsha, within Parsha Bereshis. It's in the beginning with the Or Ki Tov, this great light that's good, and the Shabbat that has that light of Emunah when everything goes up and we become partners in creation. This is the kind of light we tune into in this week's Parsha Bereshis, and that will give us the strength to go into all the Parshas ahead. Wherever we may read it, if we're in shul, if we're at home, we have the ability in the beginning to tune in to a tremendous chizuk, a tremendous light that comes down on this Shabbos, on this Shabbat. It's the light of Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot. It's all within these Shabbat, this light, and it's the climax of Tishrei, so it has all the energy of the month that we've just gone through together, concentrated, and all of us can pray and to bring out a more unified experience in our life. And we shouldn't be downcast, we shouldn't be fearful from what we're seeing online, seemingly the lack of that, or we're hearing from family and friends, or God forbid we're even struggling with all kinds of things. We should be healthy, and we should have the strength and the emotional strength to face our life, to come out with Emunah and positivity. And please God, like I said, go to part 1. I was more flowing in that one, and I appreciate that you joined us in part 2, and it's all good because this is the flexibility and emotional intelligence and versatility that we're demonstrating here by doing 2 classes this week because of the lockdown. Wasn't sure I could get here. Now we're here, we're doing the edited version. You have the opportunity to tune in to both classes, putting up both of them, please God, online already. The Breslev Israel platform has the Facebook and YouTube live feed, and please God, we're going to put it out there again and again, a few different places, even Instagram, we'll get it out there, maybe a little bit of TikTok and all those other funny places that we can put nowadays. But the main point, the Nekuda Tova, the Panemius, the inner aspect, the Eitz Chaim that's in this week's Parsha, the inner aspect, the truth, the eternal path, that has to be with us choosing. We have the power to choose, and to choose with encouragement and strength, and not to be pulled down by the seemingly overwhelming struggle that we're up against. We have the power, we have a soul, we're part of the oneness, we're not restricted by anything ultimately. We have a soul, even though right now we're in lockdown seemingly, but we have a soul, so we're united on a soul level, we're all together really. And my father's birthday today is 79. I'm with my father, even though he's not here physically, and I'm with all my friends and family, all the people I love, chilling with. We're able to talk a little bit online. It's not the same as being in person. We're able to tune into Rav Arush online. It's not the same as being in person, but we have the power on the soul level to tune in that we're all one, that we're all souls, and we're all tuned in to this ultimate flow. And that, please God, will give us the strength to go ahead with these Emuna classes with encouragement and strength to put out that energy this year, that we can do it, that we can share Emuna and the Breslev Israel and all the other great people out there and all the great platforms that are putting out positivity and encouragement. All these podcasts nowadays, there's so much positivity there, to be able to tune into that light and to get it out there. You can tune into my podcast, tune into all the other great podcasts I mentioned during these classes. You can tune into your own podcast. Let's hear from you. Let's share more Emunah in the world. And please God, we'll see that with the Emunah and unity mindset of united souls that were already bound together, like I'm writing about in my book and I'm putting out there, that will bring this world to a completion because we're working together. We're not fighting like Cain and Hevel. We're not like Cain and Abel. We're not fighting. We're not jealous. We're able to tune in that everyone has their role, everyone has their purpose, everyone has their mission, and there's no jealousy, and we're here to join together. It's not about ego. It's not about me being famous or you being famous or anybody else being famous online. It's about us doing our purpose and accomplishing Emuna classes that help bring clarity and strength and encouragement to go ahead with our life with unity and Emunah, and with only good news and good health and blessings of soul and everything good. Please God, it should be a beautiful Shabbat Bereshis. I'm looking forward to see you in the new week with hopefully the Wi-Fi here, so we can do it all in one class and get all the energy compounded into one space. And please God, with Rav Shalom Arush and our guests and the translation and all the other classes, everything's going to get back moving in a more energized level, and you guys can make it more powerful and profound by sharing it out there with your friends and family on your networks. And we can come, please God, to the Tikkun Shalom, the fixing of the Chet of the Adam Arishon this week's Parsha, fixing it up with the light of Bereshis, of Yira Boshis, to have true awareness and true humility, that we can come together with Mashiach Sekenu B'mhei V'meinu. Amen.